I made the Dryrates logo for the Summer of Slug 2026. In this video, I intend to tell you a little more about it. So, the base design of the logo was created by Door and further developed by Positive Axle. My hand in creating the logo was making it in Blender. I unfortunately don't have any footage showing off the process, but I do have some screenshots I'll show here. To start off, I modeled the cracked sand letters through simple box modeling, leaving them fairly low poly and blocky. The Y is just made up of 2 cylinders. I added some extra loops to the bottoms, dragged them out, and moved vertices around randomly to add this broken off look. I kept the design really simple since this is a logo and should be easy to comprehend even from a distance, so no nails or rope or brackets or stuff like that. I modeled this crow's nest on top of the Y to complete the look, but I made it a different color from the letters to improve readability. Finally, flowing from the top of the Y, we have the flag that forms the R. I just did a few extrusions from a plane to create the approximate shape, added a hole for the R, added a bunch of geometry, and then got the finer shaping in. As for textures, the flag is just a simple red and white wave texture that I put on a flattened out UV of the flag to keep the stripes looking correct despite the shape of the actual mesh. The wood texture on the mast is a pretty simple procedural one that I use basically whenever I need a wood texture. I want to say I got it by following Smeeve's tutorial on the matter, but I can't quite remember. My strategy for the cracked sand letters was just to model them really simple and blocky, then subdivide them to high heaven, and add a displacement node into the shader. This was easy enough to do in Blender. However, this logo was to feature in the Dryrates animation created by Studframe Animations, and he's working in Cinema 4D, not Blender. This meant that I was going to have to do some texture baking. Easy enough, I thought. However, baking displacement, as I have discovered, is a massive pain. First, I tried to do it with the AutoBake 2 add-on, which is what I usually use, since it considerably improves the texture baking process. However, this doesn't work for whatever reason. So then, I tried baking it the normal way, following a video from a great channel called Ryan King Art. However, now I find that the viewer node, which is essential for this process, no longer exists. Thankfully, Studframe found that the emission node is basically the same thing as the viewer node, and lo and behold, it finally worked. Oh, and the actual cracked sand texture was made with a Voronoi distance to edge node, and some noise as well to make it look more coarse. If anyone's interested in a full tutorial on how this was done, let me know. For the last step, I added lighting. I added a desert HDRI I found on Polyhaven, as well as a sun lamp pointing just a bit to the left. I also set the color temperature to 4500K to add a bit of warmth to the light. Finally, I set up a camera facing dead on and made the background transparent for the render. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the Summer of Slug.